Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day so far, and if you haven't, hopefully this video can cheer you up a little bit if you are playing the deck and give you some ideas on how to play it. I read up one of the comments that asked me to show some of the combos or lines for the deck, and I think it's more than fair. It's not really a linear deck in my opinion. It really depends on what you open and also the matchup you want to play against. Now, what I mean with what you open is of course not that, oh, I bricked, oh, whatever. It's just that if you have access to some parts of your engine, then you're probably going to want to access the other parts, and it's not going to be always the same combo. So I'm going to show you the one card starter combo with the Sylvie, because Sylvie, it is the best normal summon for the deck, but you're always gonna need other discards, other spells and traps to activate your effects. So that's where it comes into play, because usually if you open your White Forest spells and traps, then you're obviously gonna be not losing resources because they're gonna set back themselves. So, and you also don't have to search for them. So you're always gonna have access for those, and yeah, that's pretty much what I mean. Maybe I'll show you like a real hand, so I can show it more in play. So let's say this is our opening hand. Obviously, as long as you have Sylvie and it's not hand trapped, you're gonna be able to play just perfectly. So I'm just gonna leave the hand somewhere over here. So we're gonna normal summon the Sylvie, and with the Sylvie we're gonna add the tails. We're gonna activate the tails, and in this particular case I like to add the LZ of the White Forest because it will give you access to the Diabel. It's really important that you have both level 2s, because this one can also search into the LZ as a Mina, so you're just gonna have access to both cards. But it's not the only way. You can either access it with the tails, the LZ of the White Forest, and you can also search it with Deception of the Sinful Spoils and the Muarsilago. So yeah, there's just a bunch of varieties. That's why it depends on the matchup. It depends on what you want to do and where you want to get to, that you can order the order of like what resources you want first. So in this particular case, we're gonna use the LZ. We're gonna use LZ's effect, send one of our spell and traps, summon the LZ, and search for the LZ as a Mina. We're gonna summon the LZ as a Mina and synchro summon into our Ciela. And then we're gonna go Changling 1, the LZ as a Mina, because it's more important that this one resolves than the Arciela. So with the Arciela, we're gonna have to pitch another one. We're gonna access for the Scourge, and then we're gonna access for Wanted. So here you could also go straight into the Deception, but you want Wanted because you also want to have as much Sinful Spoil cards as you can in your grave. So you can either draw one extra card with Wanted, or if you have the Azamina Determination, you can also fusion summon with those. So in this particular case, we're gonna go with this line, so we can have a better understanding of where I'm trying to go with this. So we're not gonna synchro yet into the Diabel, because it's gonna be very important that we recycle the Deception, so we can do a double fusion summon. So we're gonna go Wanted first, and we're gonna search for the Diabel Star. Here you're gonna summon Diabel Star, sending another card. You're gonna use it to set the Deception onto the field, activate the Deception, and then you're gonna tribute the Diabel Star at your Hollowed, activate Hollowed, reveal Muarsilago, summoning her. I usually put her in defense mode because it's just better. It does give you some sort of protection, because as it will decrease attack and defense of all your opponent's monsters by 500 per each Azamina card you control. So yeah, you're usually gonna have 2. If you have determination, you can have up to 4. So it's just like this defense mechanism that allows your monsters not to be run over so fast. So here we are gonna synchro now into the queen. We're gonna use the queen's effect to recycle back the deception, and we're also gonna use Hallowed effect, sending back the LZ Azamina to the deck. We're gonna activate it again, and you're gonna just fusion summon again into the Omni Negate of Elia Sylvia. Oh wait, and here, sorry, I was explaining it, I forgot to activate her effect. So activating her effect, you can access any other Azamina or Sinful Spoils card. So I usually go for Aphes because it's a very good, very decent interruption. But depending on what you have, you can go either for the Determination or the Debtors, depending on what you have on the field. So again, it just really depends on what you want to do and what you want to get. If you have a matchup, say like a deck like Blue Eyes or Branded, that they usually target their own cards a lot, you would probably want to go for Determination, because with Determination you're going to access the Saint Azamina, and it's going to be a very good floodgate, and it's going to just stop them right away. So this is going to be our, say, end board. You're gonna set, of course, all of these because this is a additional negate. If this is imperm, that's imperm. But here you have, at this moment, you have 4 bounces, up to 4 cards you can bounce with Aphes. And you have the Omni Negate, you have this negate by tributing the bell, and then you can bring something back. And of course, in this case that we're using the imperm, then we have the imperm. Here you can extend further by banishing the wanted and maybe getting an extra draw if that's what you want. You can also leave this as follow-up and set it back again during the end phase. If you have something like Debtors, for example, you're gonna have an additional interruption with that as well. So this is like the main combo line, or like the one card starter combo line that you can have with the deck. As you can see, it's a decent amount of interruptions, and you can always like protect your cards. Running over this, it's not going to be as easy because all your monsters are going to get, all your opponent's monsters are going to be minus 1000 attack, so it's not going to be as easy. Oh, and you also have the interruption by summoning the Silvera to Book of Moon and everything. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward with this one card combo. But let me show you, for example, what it meant if like maybe you want to summon the Saint Azamina and just have like that floodgate on board that prevents your opponent to play properly. Okay, so for the next thing that I want to show you, it's gonna be pretty much the same, but instead of searching for Aphes, we are actually gonna go for the Determination. So what's gonna happen is that you're not gonna want to shuffle back your Deception and your Wanted, right? Unless you were able to put another Sinful Spoils spell or trap in the grave, you want to leave it there because you're gonna need it to summon the Saint Azamina. If you do have another Sinful Spoils in the graveyard, then you can shuffle it back and have the extra draw. But let's just say that we just have those two. So we will still have these two, but we will have this one. So what's gonna happen is in the draw phase, you're gonna use it and you're gonna shuffle back the Wanted and the Sinful Spoils, of the Deception of the Sinful Spoils back into the deck. you're gonna summon the Saint Azamina in the extra monster zone. And then using her effect, you're gonna summon the Morgina. So here, you're gonna have additional interruptions. Additionally from the ones we already had, and except of course from Aphes, because we don't have it anymore. But here, what you're gonna have is a floodgate in the form of Saint Azamina. Your opponent is not gonna be able to target anything under field, and not as Saint Azamina as well. So what's gonna happen here is they're gonna have to deal with this card, and you can run over it because it's 4K. And even if you did summon something higher than 4K, having more Murcielago and 4 Azamina cards means your opponents are gonna be 2,000 less. So running over it, it's pretty much not an option. So you're gonna have Morgina as well as an additional interruption, because as soon as you activate your Illa Sylvia, you can also chain this and target cards in the field to destroy them. It doesn't have to be Illa Sylvia. As long as you activate any Sinful Spoils or Azamina card, you can chain Morgina. So it can also be in your graveyard, it can also be some of the cards you set. It depends, you just need to time it properly. You can also pop your own Murcielago, for example, if you want to search for follow-up. So this is the second scenario, or the second option you can have. Again, it all depends on what you want to do. Personally, if you're going against decks like Blue Eyes, this is the best line, because it completely shuts down everything they want to do. They can't do the Link 1 tribute to revive Blue Eyes. They can't use the field spell. They can't use their bestials to target their own stuff. It did come up because I had at the moment no dark or lights, and he was trying to extend using the bestials. He couldn't, because he couldn't target his own cards. Yeah, it's just gonna be a pain in their ass trying to combo off without actually targeting their own things. So if doesn't necessarily narrow down to Blue Eyes, but let's just say that Blue Eyes, in my experience, because everyone is playing that deck now, every single time I put Saint Azamina on board, it's just almost like GG, because you also have cards to defend it, you have cards to pop your opponent's cards. Like, it's just very, very hard to get over the board. So yeah, this is the second possible scenario. This also, this line, going through this line helps you play around, what's the name of the card? Dimensional Barrier. Because Dimensional Barriers say that usually people say synchros, right? So if they call synchros, all you need to do is have access to the Deception via the Wanted or the Witch, and you're just gonna lose this, this, and probably this, because you won't be able to use these, but you're still gonna have access to all of this, because you're just gonna fusion summon, and fusion summon. So in that sense, you would go through this line instead of the other one. Again, as long as you have access to Wanted, this is possible. So yeah, now let's see like a real hand. Let me show you like a real hand to see if maybe I can show you like a different way that it can be played. Okay guys, let's shuffle this so I can show you what the decks can do. Just real quick, because I didn't mention it in the other section of how you can access the fusion package in case they do the Dimensional Barrier on you. Because in the other video, it was through making synchro summoning with these two cards, right? So it's really simple. So let's say they call synchros. You're gonna still have either LZ, in hand or the tails. So it's pretty much like the same 2 or 3 first steps that you have access to these cards. So let's say you do normal summon Sylvie, search this, then search this, and then effect, summon this, and then you summon this. Or not even summon that, maybe like here, they flip the dimensional barrier and say like, synchros. They're like, oh no, okay, so you're just gonna summon this, you're gonna use the fusioning effect. You can fusion either with Sylvie or LZ, doesn't really matter. But I will leave Sylvie on board just in case if maybe you have access to Arciela. You can also leave the Abyss Dweller. So those two will fusion summon into the Murcielago, and then you just go off from there. You'll use Murcielago to search for Wanted or Deception if you already have Wanted, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. But from here on, it's gonna be the same thing. You won't add Affys, you just add the determination later on, and yeah, you'll just go up from there, and that's how you play around that interruption. Just wanted to clarify that because I didn't mention it, and maybe it wasn't clear, and it's really hard to do these videos because I know the plays, I know everything. It's just really hard to come up with it as I go, explaining it instead of a live duel. Maybe what we can do is I can play some games online and maybe like go through them. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you would like to see. And I think it would be a lot better to explain it there. Maybe like the lines and why decisions were made that way and why not. So here we go. Imperm, Elzat, 1 Sinful Spell cards, Nibiru, and Tails. So here you already have pretty much full combo because Elzat is gonna search for Sylvie, and then this is gonna reset itself, and you can search for the Elzat. So this is what I mean that it's not linear. Even though we are not starting with Sylvie will be part of the play, and we're gonna still have access to the other parts of the engine. So obviously here we're gonna go without interruptions, just for the sake of going through the video, but technically you could play around interruptions. So of course the first play we're gonna do is use Elzat, sending Tails to summon it and search for Sylvie, and then this is gonna reset itself back. We're going to normal summon Sylvie, because now with Sylvie we're gonna be able to search for the Scourge, and then when we use the Arciela, we're gonna be able to search for something else. So this is what I meant previously when I said like it really depends on what you open. That really is gonna make like the lines that you can see and use. So now we're gonna use the Tails and have access to the Azamina Elzat. Go, and then we're gonna use Azamina Elzat to summon itself. Now we're gonna synchro summon into the Arciela. Go Chainlink 1, Azamina Elzat, Chainlink 2, send the Scourge. So here you can either search for the other quick play spell, the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. You can either search for this if you want to go with the forgot the name of the card, the Garden Chimera, or you can go with the Rusia if you want to leave a Abyss Dweller as an additional floodgate. So again, here it depends on the matchup, right? If you're playing against something that really uses the graveyard, then I would go with the Rusia, so I can leave the Abyss Dweller. If you want to, like maybe they're gonna set cards and use cards in the field, then of course you wanna play the White Forest. So here it all depends. It all depends on what you want to do. Let's leave it here on the side, just like as a reminder. I will show you maybe like a different line afterwards. For this one, we'll add Arciela. And we're gonna add, of course, the wanted with the Azaminal Z. We're gonna use the wanted, search for the Abel star, and then here you can pitch this Lumbermorian to summon back. To summon the witch, because you're gonna be able to set this back at the end of the turn, so you're gonna get it back. We're gonna use the Abel star to set the Deception of the Sinful Spoils, and we're gonna use it by tributing the witch, and we're gonna have access to our Hallowed. Now we're gonna use Hallowed to send this into the Murcielago. Use Murcielago to search for the Aphes. But again, it all depends on the matchup. If you think Saint Azamina is gonna be crazier, a crazier card for your opponent to interact with, then you would go with the Azamina Determination. We already have 3 Deception, 3 Sinful Spoil cards in grave, right? Oh, and we forgot to set this back. Let's not forget that, because that's really important. So yeah, again, it all depends on what you're gonna do, but let's just say we're gonna go with the Aphes, right? Okay, we can also go leave this here on the side just in case. I can show you at the end. So we're gonna add this back to hand. And now here, if you recall, we're gonna do the Synchro into the Queen, and we're gonna recycle back our Deception, and then we're gonna recycle back Hallowed, sending back Elset into the deck. So same play, activate again, and you're gonna summon your Ilia Sylvia. And now here, if you wanted, it's where you can go into the Abyss Dweller. So we're gonna use the Sylvia effect in the grave by shuffling back the Arciela into the extra deck, summon it, and then you're gonna use Rusia's effect, summon itself. Here, since you have Aphes in hand, you can use the effect to get an additional draw. In this case, it's an Ash Blossom. And then here you would just go for the Abyss Dweller, if you really wanted to, and if you really think it's gonna be a good card to play, depending on the matchup. But yeah, the only changes here would be that instead of adding Rusia, you would add this to your hand. In that case, you would also have an additional Sinful Spoils. So you can have it here for additional interruption. Of course, you would leave this in the grave, as well as the Arciela. But yeah, you wouldn't have this in hand either. But the result's the same. You would have, don't forget to activate your effects in grave, guys. This is what you would have. You could either have the Chimera to pop your points board, or you can also have the Abyss Dweller. Alternatively, instead of the Aphes, you search for the Azamina Determination, in which case it would be better to have this one, because then you would have more materials to fuse. But since we had Morian in grave, you can also set this back because you control a level 5 or higher illusion monster. So that's an additional Book of Moon. And then you can just like time it properly, right? Just time it properly. You can use the Morian first and then access into Determination, or just say like, no, I'm not gonna risk it. Then you leave the Deception in the graveyard and just go into the Saint Azamina line. So that's what's really cool about the deck, right? It really gives you a lot of options to accommodate to, and depending on the matchup, you're gonna have a different variety, a wide variety of cards that are gonna help you against those matchups. So again, Saint Azamina, if your opponent needs to target cards they control or in their grave or banishment or whatever, then yeah, for sure this is gonna be a lot better. But yeah, guys, I hope this was a little bit more insightful. I hope you could see a little bit more of how the deck works, how it runs, and please let me know if you have any other questions. It's just really complicated for me to show you in this way, especially without like interruptions and stuff. But what we can do is just let me know in the comments. I'll play some online games, and then I'll just explain over them on why I play like that, what decisions were made, and just like overall have a better insight on actual real gameplay. So that's it, guys. Thank you again for watching. Let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. This is a really good hobby for me. I really like explaining things out. I really like deck building. So yeah, it's really nice when I hear your suggestions and I hear that you're actually learning something from this, and maybe like I'm giving you other options to play the deck and whatnot. So yeah, guys, again, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you up in the next one. Take care.